Hi, and welcome back to the Colorado Sports Dog blog. If you saw in the welcome video, I will now be breaking down a best case, worst case scenario in terms of wins and losses for the CU football season. So, quick look at CU's team that they're going to be putting out on the field this year. They're returning 17 starters. You got your returning quarterback in Tyler Hansen. He no longer is going to be battling against Cody Hawkins. I think most CU fans are going to be very happy about that. You got a great running back in Speedy Stewart coming back. He's exceeded all expectations, and I am certainly excited about his return this year. You got a couple great wide receiver playmakers in Tony Clemens and Paul Richardson. Not a lot of depth at wide receiver, but we'll see what can happen with that. I think those two receivers can at least stretch the field for Hansen, make it a little bit easier for him to throw. You got a experience on the offensive line returning. Not a whole lot of depth again, though. Ryan Miller is going to be anchoring down the offensive line. He was a Pac-12 first-team preseason selection. On the defensive side of the ball, you got some guys returning who had injuries. John Major, he had a knee injury last year, should be a big part of that linebacker core for Colorado here this year. You got Josh Hardigan, defensive end, who led the team in sacks, really stepped up last year, and it was a good pass rusher last year when CU needed it. Parker Orms coming back from knee injury. He's going to have to be big with CU trying to rebuild that secondary, losing Jaleel Brown and Jimmy Smith. So like I said, in short, CU's got some talent coming back, and it's a team that won 5 games last year with a coaching staff that was, to be frank, incompetent at times. And so to say that this is going to be a lost year in terms of wins and losses for Embry's first season, I think would be inaccurate. I think there's some talent here, and I think there's some potential for this season. So let's break down the schedule. You're looking at the first 4-game stretch at Hawaii, Cal at home, the annual grudge match against Colorado State at Invesco, and Ohio State on the road. I think a best case scenario for CU would be a 3-1 start. I think you're looking at beating Hawaii at Hawaii, Cal at home in a little bit of a revenge factor game, and beating Colorado State. Some people say that Colorado will have a chance against Ohio State this year. I think they will fare better against them compared to what would have been if Ohio State hadn't have had their off-the-field issues this year. But I still think it's going to be a hard matchup for the Buffaloes. There's a lot of talent on that Ohio State team, and you got to wonder if CU can match up well. So that'd be the best case scenario. Worst case scenario, I hate to say it, but it would be 1-3. I think it would just be defeating Colorado State at Invesco and losing those 3 games. My guess would be CU would go 2-2. Win-loss against Cal or Hawaii, or loss-win, kind of a toss-up between those 2 games. Defeating Colorado State and losing to Ohio State. Break it down to the next 4 games. You're looking at Washington State, at Stanford, at Washington, and Oregon at home. Very tough 4-game stretch, and it's stretches like this that make the CU schedule such a beast this season. Best case, I think you're looking at 2-2. You're defeating Washington State at home, and you're stealing away a victory against Washington on the road. Washington, a team that's been very up and down, came away with a Holiday Bowl victory last year against Nebraska, but again, I think CU could maybe pull an upset here on the road. At Stanford and Oregon at home, you're dealing with a lot of speed. And again, I just do not think CU will match up well. Andrew Luck, quarterback at Stanford, I just hope CU keeps that one close. And Oregon at home, despite their off-the-field issues, I don't think CU is going to win that game. The final 5-game stretch of the year, you're looking at Arizona State, USC at home, Arizona at home, at UCLA, and at Utah. Arizona State, a team, again, that's been really up and down. Some experts are really high up on them this year, but I'm not 100% sold yet. USC at home. A lot of people might think I'm crazy for saying this, but give me a win for Colorado here. I think it's almost kind of the perfect storm. I know I keep talking about speed and how teams match up, but I think there's an element of emotion here that comes into play. It's going to be a nationally televised game Friday night in Boulder. It's going to be the blackout game for CU. You can almost guarantee that. USC's coming off on a short week. Give me a win for Colorado. I think CU will definitely be up for this one, and they'll come away with the victory. Arizona at home. Arizona, again, up and down team. They're coached by Bob Stoops' brother, Bob Stoops, the head coach at Oklahoma. At UCLA, Rick Neuheisel, Tricky Rick. He's on the hot seat this year, and he'd love to beat his former club. So, again, toss-up game. At Utah, this is going to be a tough game. Pac-12's begging for this to become a new rivalry. And Utah's going to be stoked to finally come into a season where they have an automatic BCS bid. It's going to be a tough game. Best case scenario, I think you're looking at 3-2. You're winning those 2 games at home against USC and Arizona, and then you're stealing one on the road between Arizona State, UCLA, and Utah. Worst case scenario, I think you're looking at beating Arizona at home and stealing one on the road, so it would be 2-4. My estimation, I'm going to go with the 3-2. I think CU will win those 2 games at home, and they're going to steal one on the road. So, if you add up all these totals, you're looking at 8-5 best case, worst case 4-7, and my estimation would be 6-7. So, again, I want to try to keep this blog short as possible, at least. So thank you for checking in on my blog. Please comment, follow on Twitter, and we'll see you next time. And please let me know what you want to talk about. Thanks.